Hailed by Sir David Attenborough as his natural broadcasting successor, Professor Brian Cox's rise to prominence has been little short of meteoric since he first appeared on our TV screens, making highly complex science interesting and entertaining. His new 90-minute documentary film, 7 Days on Mars, follows this trajectory as he fulfills a childhood dream by enjoying privileged access to NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. The lab is mission control for Mars 2020, one of the most ambitious space missions ever, which, scientists hope, may finally reveal if life ever existed on the red planet. Over the course of a week, Cox follows every move of the Perseverance rover, or Percy, to the JPL team, and the Ingenuity helicopter, known as Ginny, and the first powered aircraft ever sent to another planet, as they explore the surface of Mars some 128 million miles away. So is there life on Mars? The documentary hopes to answer that question. "We only know one planet in the universe that has life on it, and that's ours," says Cox. "We know about the origins of life on Earth and can say, okay, the conditions that were needed were liquid water and geological activity, so we can look for other places where that was the case, and, on Mars, it certainly was." So, kind of paradoxically, the question of our own origins might be resolved by finding evidence on Mars. It might even be easier to do than finding it on Earth because our evidence has been wiped clean. Chatting on Zoom from Portland, Oregon, where he is on the US leg of his Horizons World Tour, a live cinematic tour de force experience examining the origins of the galaxy with comedian Robin Ince, Cox looks a ridiculously young 54. "We're on our way down the West Coast now," he smiles. "I enjoy touring. All I have to do is be awake in the evening between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. for the show." The Horizons tour will arrive in the UK later this summer, including a stint at London's Royal Opera House, and then Cox starts the academic year at Manchester University, where he still teaches despite being the face of TV science. Another new intake will shuffle into a lecture theatre this autumn to be greeted by that man off the telly. "The first thing they get is me, doing relativity and quantum mechanics," he smiles. "I teach the first years and have done for many years, and I really enjoy it. I wouldn't have it any other way. I still consider TV a part-time activity." In the meantime, he is writing a book about black holes and pulling together his annual concert for educational charities at the Royal Albert Hall with a little help from his rock and roll friends. "I invite bands that I loved when I was growing up," he explains. "We've had Duran Duran, New Order, and The Cure. We never announce who's on. But we're lucky. We get big bands and I always perform. I played Love Cats with Robert Smith. It's my show and I take advantage of my position." Back to Mars, and Cox admits he loved the hit 2015 sci-fi Hollywood movie The Martian, based on a book by Andy Weir, in which stranded astronaut Mark Watney, played by Matt Damon, must rely on his ingenuity to find a way to signal to Earth that he is alive. Andy Weir really tries to be accurate, scientifically, and so they're brilliant books, he says. "There's nowhere else near possible really for us to go to in the solar system. We can't go to any other planets because Mercury is too hot and all the other ones are made of gas. So could humans survive long-term on Mars? Yes, but it would be hard. It's more difficult to get there than the Moon, but, once you're there, then it's potentially easier because there is water there, subsurface, and in the soil. The things you need to live are there. Obviously there isn't an atmosphere to speak of. The Martian is, within the confines of Hollywood, a reasonable picture of what it would be like, if a little rose-tinted. But it wouldn't be very nice. I'll go when they've built a hotel. He admires Tesla billionaire Elon Musk's ambition to have a crewed SpaceX mission to Mars by 2029, though remains skeptical of whether it is possible. SpaceX has been brilliant at developing reusable rockets. I don't think many people thought it would be possible. They've made it routine. Whether or not they are going to get people to Mars on the timescale Elon speaks about, I personally doubt it. It's very hard. The spaceship you saw in The Martian is probably what you need, and it looks pretty beyond us right now. Having said that, 10 years ago, the idea that we would be sending reusable rockets into space would probably be considered to be science fiction. Cox feels there is more of a buzz around space in the UK. There is some excitement, and there are the spaceports in Scotland and in Cornwall which are being invested in. The industrialisation of space is a big opportunity, so purely in economic terms, the UK has to be involved. On the one hand, it can seem like a luxury. You might say, why do we care if we find life on Mars? Well, actually, it is the answer to one of the most profound questions you can ask: are we alone in the universe? Was there a second genesis of life? What is the origin of life, and how did we come to be here? The fact that you can actually go and try to address those questions by finding evidence is remarkable. One of his heroes, U.S. astronomer Carl Sagan, famously described the study of the stars as humbling and character-building. It's humbling that we are just a tiny speck in this galaxy, never mind the universe, and it's character-building because we are alone for millions of light-years in every direction, says Cox. No one is going to come to save us from ourselves or help. It's up to us. The more we learn about how we came to be here, and the size and scale of the universe, then the more it tells us we have this tremendous responsibility. As a civilization, we are reliant on space. We use it every day for things like GPS, global positioning system, used for sat-navs, weather forecasting, and less obviously, our analysis of climate. On that note, are we too late to save the planet from climate change? I hope not, he sighs. If we mess this up, we might be responsible for eliminating intelligence, perhaps forever in the galaxy. It might be down to us. We should take our position rather more seriously. Cox's boyhood fascination with space became an inspiration for him to become a physicist, although he was briefly a pop star with D-Ream, whose hits included Things Can Only Get Better, later adopted as the new Labour anthem. He left to complete his PhD in particle physics but remains a keen pianist and keyboard player. For most of his career, Cox was an academic. He worked on the Atlas experiment at the Large Hadron Collider at CERN in Switzerland before appearing on television. But the impact of his 2010 series, Wonders of the Solar System, made him a household name. Fame has allowed him to do his bit to make the nation value science more, but he admits he gets confused with Scottish actor Brian Cox, who stars in the HBO hit Succession as ruthless family patriarch Logan Roy. It can happen with taxi drivers. If they pick me up and take me to the airport, they just see it's Brian Cox on the booking and they don't know which one it is, he laughs. I have met him and he gets this too. Sometimes they're disappointed, and go, "Oh, no." And sometimes they're relieved. Cox divides his life between a flat in Saddleworth and a southwest London home shared with his American wife Gia Milinovich and their 13-year-old son, George. With all his work commitments, does he ever see his family? Of course. It's no different to everyone else, we all have jobs and juggle those things. I try to balance it and I'm choosy about each project, I could do more, he insists. But I make sure school holidays are free. As with all 13-year-olds, George is interested in everything, from music to science. Cox also enjoys the odd TV cameo, but adds, "I'm not doing much TV at the moment." This new documentary was a one-off. It was a tremendous pleasure. As soon as I found out I had such access to JPL, it was a yes. It was a boyhood dream come true. But as NASA always says, they know that this is not just about the science, it's also about inspiring the next generation and spreading the knowledge. They take it seriously and they want people to know what they're doing. As he tries to discover the secrets of the universe, there is one puzzle that needs to be solved. Just how does he manage to look so young? He smiles, I think constantly being challenged and being interested. That's the key. Brian Cox, 7 Days on Mars is on BBC Two at 9 p.m. tomorrow and will also be available on iPlayer.